What's up, guys? Ender Unknown here. I am back for episode 5 of our Unity Spelunky-Style game series. And today we're going to be continuing off of what we were working on last week with our player. So we're going to give this axe thing, we're going to get rid of the axe and actually use our player. Anyways, I'm going to get right into it. So we're going to click on our player map sprite. Going to change the type to, or the mode to multiple. The pixels per unit to 32. Uh, well, this would be bilinear. It should be point, and this should be none for compression. And then apply. And I guess this is what the settings should look like now. This is the second attempt at me recording this, so um, yeah. Anyways, and that is also why we have uh the different sprites in here already. So I'm gonna make this window a little bigger. Basically, you want to, I guess I'll delete this one to show. You'll just click and drag to make a little box, and then we'll draw it out and player torso. Yeah, so we've got the head, we've got the torso, we've got the arm, and we've got the leg. Now with the arm and the leg, we have a custom pivot point that we are putting so that it rotates properly. So when we rotate the arm, it's going to rotate around that point instead of around the center point. So I guess just make sure you can control that by, this is usually in the center, you just drag it up here. And yeah, so we're going to apply that, close out of our editor thingy there. I'm going to go back to the player, and I'm going to actually delete the remove component, the axe, and we are going to create a new game object, and this is going to be called upper body. So I'm pretty much dividing this into two parts. We're going to have the upper body, which is the head, the torso, and the arms, and then the lower body, which is the legs. And we are going to go into here. We're going to create a 2D object. We're going to call this head. Oops. And actually, I do need to make sure that this upper body is, these should both be zeroed on the just the player component. Head is going to have our head sprite. It is going to have a layer of 4, because it's going to be the furthest thing forward, or towards the camera, however you want to explain that. I'm also going to create another sprite, and this is going to be called torso. We are going to select our chest. I'm going to grab this. I've turned off the grid snapping, so that it's easier to make our character. I don't know, I think that looks alright. Of course, you guys probably spent more time and worked on your sprites to make them look a lot nicer than mine do. I'll let you know that and I'm sure you figured this out, I'm not really much of an artist. Right arm. I do my best. And yeah, so the torso is going to have a sorting layer of 2. This arm is going to have a sorting layer of 1. Just going to put it so that it looks natural there. What I really should have done is made these shoulder pads on top of the arm, because now it's just going to look a little bit odd when the arm is rotated. So if we rotate it, it should be rotating around the object center. I mean, that doesn't look great, but it is what it is. So, just an oversight on my side. I thought I already named this. Right arm. Okay. I'm just going to duplicate this to get our left arm and move it over here. The order in the layer is going to be 3, so that it's in front of everything. And we are going to situate it at the same height as our other arm there. Or whatever. I guess I could have just not changed the height. That would have probably worked better. So there, his other arm is kind of in front. a little bit, his hand. And then we're gonna like close out or minimize this upper body and create the two legs. So I guess we'll call this right leg, which I will go get to the leg sprite here. We'll set this down. The order is going to be 0. I'm just going to finesse this into a place that looks mostly natural. Like that. I think that looks alright. Maybe in? I don't know. We'll duplicate it to get our left leg, and I will scoot that one just a little ways over. And set it in front by making the order in layer 1. So yeah, you guys will have to, of course, adjust the limbs to make them look more natural. Okay, maybe that looks better. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a professional artist, so yeah, we're just gonna go with that. We're also going to want to update the box collider so that the player, oops, player fits better. So like that, like that. I would recommend making it more centered in the player, so like a little clipping off a little bit of the arms so that collision is still there, but it's not, oh, well, this one pixel of the hand is sticking out, I guess I can't walk there. Or if an enemy swings a sword or whatever, then it hits the one pixel on my hand there, or whatever, and then I take damage or whatever. But I don't know, however much you want to fine tune that is totally up to you guys. Now we're going to make our tiny knight a little bit bigger. I think that will do. Yeah. So smaller than a block, of course, but larger than, or so almost as big as a block. So yeah, now pretty much now that we have our character, we're going to get into animation. So we're going to click. I already made the folder because, like I said, this is my second attempt. It is empty. I'm going to right click on the, or not right click on, I'm going to click on the player. We're going to click on the animation tab, and we're going to press create. This automatically is in my assets animation, but probably will bring you to the assets folder. So just click on animation. We are going to make, I don't know, player underscore idle. And yeah, so I would recommend watching a Unity animation video doohickey because I will do my best to explain what I'm doing and show you it, but I'm probably not going to be able to give you the pro animator tips to make your character like look amazing, because I am more programming based than artistic based. So, anyways, with that out of the way, we are going to click this record button, and now I'm going to move the keyframe, like the selector line, to 10, which will be the halfway point, and we're going to start animating out our idle animation. So I want the upper body to move down just a little bit. Maybe that's too much. Yeah, I think that looks good. And even more so, the head. It's always wise to have every part move just a little bit to make it seem more alive and less robotic. We're going to add a little bit of a rotation. Make sure that pivot is the selected instead of global. So we'll want, or so global is fine, but pivot instead of center. I'm gonna maybe make the arm rotate out a little bit. The same here. I don't know. in animation, I do believe less is more, is the saying, kind of. In the fact that just, oh, that looks robotic. In the fact that just little small animations or changes, I guess, look the best, but what do I know? I'm going to rotate both of the legs out just a bit. Okay, that looks weird. Now he looks like he's dancing. Okay, so maybe we won't mess with the legs. Because the rest of the body moves, and he doesn't have knees or anything, so, yeah. So I guess this will be our idle animation. Of course, you guys can spend more time making it look really nice. But, anyways, so I'm just going to select this top keyframe, selects the whole row. My headset likes to shut off on me these days. Anyways, sorry about that. Yeah, we're gonna click here, Control C to copy, and go to 20, and do Control V. Because in animation, you always want them to start where they end. So now I'm gonna deactivate recording mode. We play this, they start dancing, or doing the idle animation. So maybe this is a little too pronounced. I personally feel that his head moves too much. So I'm going to go find his head and move it up a bit and then update the keyframe. So now hopefully, yeah, now it's a little more, or a little less pronounced. So now it doesn't look like he's dancing and it more looks like he's breathing. I guess if we want to slow it down, I think we can select all and drag it out like that. So if that looks better, I don't know. I think I like that more. So I guess we'll make this 40 like that. So yeah, that is our idle animation. Of course, when he's not selected, he's just normal. We are going to be making, I think, 4 more. So I'm going to be trying to do these as time efficiently while not slacking as possible, however you want to phrase that. So this should have created a animator object on our player. And yeah, so I guess that's good. I'm going to create a new clip. We're going to call it player underscore run, or walk, I guess you could call it, movement. We're going to enable recording. And our starting frame is going to be like a dash, or so full on movement. I'm sure there are technical terms for this type of animation. His legs look ridiculous. And then I guess again we'll maybe start by making it 20. At the halfway point, I believe the legs are supposed to maybe swap or come back in. I'm sorry, this is gonna look ridiculous, I'm sure. And then we'll just copy the first one. So we've got that. You know what? I like that. That's fine. Yeah, I never said I was professional. So no, I'm gonna make this a little more pronounced. I don't want both of those selected. Oops. So we want our walking clip. We want our rotation here. We're just gonna want that a little more and a little more. So yeah, now our knightly fellow really is. Did that work? I don't know. Oh, I'm not recording. That's why. So the right leg and our left leg. So yeah, now he's really booking it, or whatever the young people say these days. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that looks funny. I guess in our in-between areas, it's like this, we're going to make his upper body just lower a bit. So it looks like when his legs are wide, oh, and yeah, or actually, I guess we'll just raise it here. So now he kind of looks like he's walking. And of course, we'll have to copy this frame and stick it at the end. So yeah, I still think that looks funny. His head, I guess, oops, that's the upper body. His head, when we're in the full position, could maybe rise up just a little bit. So he's like that. And then he's down, up, when he changes, and then he'll go. Does this even look natural? So out, out, out. Kind of. Okay. Yeah, you guys will have to fine tune this. I'm sorry. I obviously not much of a animator. We're gonna make his arms flail out, I guess, kind of. So we're gonna make them really pronounced. So he's gonna look very funny when he's running, but that is okay. So then we're gonna copy our starting position and paste that over end position. So yeah, then running looks like this. And does he look like he's doing some sort of dance? Yes. I, I don't know what else to do with that. Um, Anyways, we're gonna just continue on to the next animation. So yeah, we're gonna create a new clip. We're gonna create a jump animation. So I guess player underscore jump. I wish I could be a little better at this so that it's not completely ridiculous, but no, it is what it is. So jump is gonna be whenever he's in the air. So I guess maybe I should have named that better. So yeah, we are going to have his legs sprawl outward like this. And his arms are going to kind of just be out a little bit. So it looks like he's jumping. His sword will be up, or his axe, because I made an X. And then his upper body, I think, should be tilted back a little bit. But does that look weird? Kind of. So yeah, now whenever he's in the air, he'll be doing this, and that's okay. Yeah. Let's not contemplate that. Okay, so that's jump. So whenever he's in the air, he's just gonna do this animation. So he's gonna look like he's falling, kind of. Then I'm going to add another clip called player called, I don't know, start jump. So this is gonna be kind of what he looks like when, like the jump is initiated. Him just leaving the ground. I really have no idea what I want to animate for this. Maybe we'll... Oh, I should probably start recording. I guess maybe we'll just take the upper body and we will... See, I'm trying to think of what a jumping person would do. And maybe that's why I'm getting so mixed up. So maybe we rotate the arms in? I don't know. Do that. We'll just tilt his head, because it looks funny that way. Yeah, jump. So we'll have him jump like that. So that's his start, like the start of his jump. And then we will finally make our last clip, thankfully. And this is going to be called player underscore jump land. And this is where he's going to hit the ground, so we're going to start recording. I want to give him like a little bit of a bounce, because that makes sense, right? He's going to go in as his body's going to go down as his legs hit the ground. Oops. Jump land. Like that. Then I want his head to also go down. Actually, what would be kind of neat is if we, I don't know, squished. And I'm going to just do the upper torso. Like that, if we squished it just a little bit. So when he goes down. Oh no, I just squished his. Okay. I have to click record. I always forget this. Yeah. Now we're going to be able to squish the upper body. So squish that a little bit. So that when he lands, he's just gonna kind of like deflate. And I think his arms will go out. Or maybe they go in. I don't know. We just. Now he looks like he's playing the guitar. Kind of. I don't. It looks weird no matter what I do. So I guess we'll just do. That. So yeah, he's going to just squish. And then I guess maybe we'll do a quick rebound where he bounces up. So over here, we'll go to our starting position and just copy this over to back here. And so yeah, so well, it wouldn't repeat, but he'll land and then just, well, we don't want it that abrupt. I don't know how to make this bigger, but I guess I can just drag it like that. So he'll go down and then spring back up. Fundamentals of animation with Ender Unknown. That's kind of a joke. Anyways, that is thankfully all we need to do with the animations for right now. I'll maybe look into getting a little better at them before we do enemies and whatnot. I guess otherwise you guys can look into that for yourselves and spend more time on them. But it is what it is. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking. He is very silly. Anyways, I think that is all that we need to do with this. So we're going to need to go to the animation controller window, which I do believe is not currently up. So I'll be back when I figure out how to actually turn that on. Okay, so you just have to go click Window, Animation, and then Animator, and then this will pop up. So this is our animation thingy. So, window, not thing. I'm going to just organize this a little bit, and we are going to need to add some parameters. So we're going to need a, oh, sorry, that's a layer. We're going to need a parameter. We're going to need a bool that's going to be is walking. We're also going to need a trigger called onJump. So this will be when the player jumps, it'll start the string of animations, and then we're also going to need a bool calls is grounded. So yeah, that is pretty easy. So our player idle is going to be our entry state. So when we start the animation, it'll just go to the idle. Then we're going to have our walking animation. So we're going to right click, make transition, and then click onto our player walk. I guess I'll maybe bring this down here. The condition for this is going to be, and actually we're going to have to set some stuff up here. is walking. So if is walking is true, then we're going to have our player walk. I guess that makes pretty much sense. We're going to turn off has exit time, and our duration we're just going to make really quick so the transition is fast. Then we are going to need a transition back to there, and this is going to just be if is walking is false. So that means it'll set it back to idle. Same is true, exit time is going to be off. We're going to just make this like 0.1 or something so that's really quick. Jumping is going to be something that can happen from any state, so we're going to need our start jump. And actually, before we do all this, I forgot something very important, is that player jump land, and player jump start have this loop time. Well, I mean, they all have it. All the animations do. But we want it turned off because we don't want the animation to loop over and over again. We just want it to do it once and then be done. Anyways, from the any state, we make transition to our start jump. This is going to be triggered when we have on jump. So when the on jump trigger is triggered, then it will have the player start the jump. Then if the player is we're going to make that transition. If the player is oh, and I also has exit time duration, probably the same. I don't know, we'll have to play around with these durations a little bit. That is also going to be gone. We're going to add a list. If is grounded, oops, I made that a trigger. That's my bad. So we'll make a bool called is grounded. And yeah, so if grounded is false, that means we're in the air, so we'll be jumping. And then we are going to want to go from our jump to our land. So we're going to make a transition to here. This transition is only going to happen when is grounded is true. So when we hit the ground and we stop jumping, then this will play. And then depending on, we have to make two transitions here. If is walking is false, then we're going to go to idle. And otherwise, we're going to go to actually, that needs to be turned off, and the duration needs to be changed. So when we jump land, we need to either go to idle if the player is not walking, or we need to go down to player walk if the player is walking. So yeah. Now there's one more thing that we're probably going to want to do, and that is to make a transition from any state to player jump. Now, the purpose of this is so that if the player just happens to be in the air, we don't play the jump animation, but we play the player falling or in the air. So if, and actually this might require additional handling because this is going to have conflicting problems with this, I do believe. I mean, we'll give it a try this way. Otherwise, that might be something I'll have to go look into. So if grounded is equal to false, that means we're in the air. So yeah, if that makes sense, if we just walk off a cliff or whatever, we should have this. But I guess not. I'm going to do some research into that, and then that'll be maybe a quick change that we add at the start of the next video or later today once I get this all to work. Now, doesn't have exit time. So did I screw up one of these transitions? Probably. Huh. I don't know. Oh, exit time should be off on this one. Duration. Just double checking. All these look good. So yeah, we'll have to play around with the duration. Anyways, I'm going to open up our player controller and player motor classes, and then we will implement this into our actual code. So then it'll start working. Okay, now in Visual Studio, we are going to well, this is a player motor class. I can't get ahead of myself here. We're going to make a animator variable called anim, and in our start method that we have to make, we are going to set anim equal to get component animator, which will get the component off of our player. So then in our update player, we have a couple things we need to do. To start, we're going to do the jump. So this is when we start jumping. So we're going to get anim dot set trigger, and we're going to trigger our what did we end up naming that? It was on jump. There we go. So yeah, we've got the on jump. We're going to set the trigger, then we're going to do anim.set bool, the name of which is grounded, and that is going to equal false because we are no longer grounded. And then yeah. And actually what we could do is we're going to remove this from here. We're going to go down below, and actually I'm going to do this below all the input. If grounded, so if that's true, then we're going to set grounded equal to true, and otherwise we are going to set it equal to false. So there we go, that should work. And then finally, what we're going to want to do down here is, if we could technically stick it in here, but, well, actually no, we couldn't. We're going to have to check if our move value x, if that is equal to 0, then we are going to want to set our, not is grounded, is walking. That's going to equal false, and otherwise, we don't really need those here. So else set bool is walking, that's going to equal true. So that should handle all of our parameters. We have is grounded, we have is walking, and then we do trigger our on jump. So let's go test this out in Unity. Okay, a couple quick things that I forgot and needed to do some changing on. So we actually want our character to be able to go both left and right, which I guess makes sense. So yeah, or rotate, I should say, so that the sprite looks normal. So what we had to do, or what I had to do, was stick all the sprites into a sprites component. I had to put the player's animator on this sprites component, like that, and delete it off the player. Then on the player motor script, I had to have a reference to sprites, and then I'll go show you what else I changed in the code. Also, on an unrelated note, jump height 18 and player speed 12 seem to work pretty well, at least for me. And then, anyways, back into Visual Studio here. So, yeah, we just have a transform sprites, and our animator, instead of just having get component, we do sprites.get component. And then down to make a rotate, we have if move x is greater than 0, then facing right is true, and then if move x is less than 0, then it is equal to true. Now what this is going to do is that if it is 0, it's not going to change it. And then we check if facing right is true, and then we rotate our or we set the rotation equal to, or the y rotation, or the vector 0, 1, 0. Multiply, if vector multiplication, that'd be 0, 1, 80, 0. So that would be our component's rotation. or more accurately, Sprite's rotation. And then otherwise we just set it equal to 0, 0, 0 for the vector, which would be no rotation. Uh, yeah, so those are the changes I made. Now let's go test it out. Should be able to just bring back Unity here. We're going to press play. And I am initially facing the wrong way, but that's fine. But yeah, we have our silly little player, and he is able to hobble about in the scene. And oh, actually, the last thing I wanted to do was we are going to need a different layer, I think. So if we go into our sprites, I'm going to select all of these. Can't do that, never mind. I'm going to just do, we're going to add a sorting layer, and we're just going to call it player. And so player will hopefully go in front of everything else. So then we're going to set all of these sorting layers to player, which I guess I can do a bulk select. And then now that should prevent our leg from, yeah, now everything's in front of our door here. And hey, I'm pretty happy with this. It looks alright. Our knight does look a little silly. Some of the animations don't play out how they're supposed to, or although they do, but they're not at the proper timings, in the sense that I feel like the landing animation should have longer duration, ever so slightly, because it's just like his head bobs. And I feel like the jump animation should be a little faster because he kind of looks silly sticking his foot out once he's midair. But aside from that, I'm pretty happy. I think this looks alright. But yeah, now we have a character that we can traverse our terrain with, which is excellent. How much I'm going to change these animation stuff around, I guess I can show you how to do it. I don't think I'm going to play with it too much, but I would advise you guys to do, so if you have time. We will be... The player actually looks really small compared to this door. We maybe might make that smaller, I don't know. Or maybe it's just a really large passageway. But yeah, all the animations do work. I think I'm going to zoom the camera in a little bit on the player, but I guess I'll play with that in between episodes here to figure out if we want to do that. I can't think of anything else. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment. Yeah, so our knight person works. Next week we are going to be working on... I don't know. It would either be... Making the weapon doesn't make sense, because we are... Whatchamacallit? We don't have any enemies. There we go. I can say words sometimes. Yeah, we don't have any enemies. So maybe what we'll do is get the players spawning in, and then maybe go back to working on some more of the environmental stuff to make our environment a little more smooth. So I think that's the current plan. Because right now there's a chance that if the room generation is improper, he'll clip into the blocks, and then... I guess I might show you guys that, because I think it looks pretty funny. He looks like he does his idle dance if he gets stuck in blocks. And... Oh, he didn't get... Yeah, he got stuck in... Oh. Oh, no, what? I moved the sprites. Yeah, that's silly. Yeah, no, we want the whole player. We're gonna move the whole player and cram him in some blocks. So yeah, this is what happens, is he just does that. His motion gets reversed and then stuff happens. Oh, and this is also the other thing. If he's moving in air, or if he's just falling like that, he's not in the jump position, which I don't know. Maybe we like it that way. But I think it makes more sense if he is like if he falls here, he's not running, he'd play like the jump animation or the falling animation or something. I don't know. Maybe we could make him like we do some math when we're doing the fall damage stuff later, so that if he falls far enough, far enough to the point where he takes fall damage, he'll like land on his face and then have to get up. I don't know. That might be kind of interesting. Just make it a little more immersive. I don't know. I think that's enough of me talking though for this week. So I guess thank you guys for watching, and yeah, that's all I got. Ender out.